Poland has granted a humanitarian visa to a Belarusian athlete who refused to board a flight to her home country. The athlete, Krystyna Tymonovskaya, is in the Polish embassy in Tokyo this hour. This all started when she criticized her coaches for entering her into the 4x400-meter relay without her consent. She reportedly asked for help at Tokyo's airport when team officials tried to send her home on Sunday. The athlete told a reporter she believes she'll be put in jail if she goes back to Belarus. We are covering this story on two continents for you. Nick Paton-Walsh standing by in London. First up, Selina Wang joining us from Tokyo. What do we know about the circumstances of this case at this point?
Well, Becky, I'm actually standing outside of the Polish embassy here in Tokyo, where Krystyna Tymonovskaya had earlier entered. And according to the foreign minister, she has received a humanitarian visa from Poland. The deputy foreign minister said that they will do whatever they can so she can continue her sporting career. We have learned that she will be traveling actually to Poland in the coming days. Now, Becky, she was set to compete in the 200-meter heats on Monday, but on Sunday, Belarus national team representatives went to the Olympic Village, told her to pack up her belongings and go back to Belarus. When she got to the airport in Japan, she approached Japanese police officers. She said she wanted to seek political asylum. She feared going back. Now, this fear comes after she spoke out against national sporting authorities. She had complained on Instagram that she had been entered in this 4x400 relay, which she had not prepared for. It was without her consent. This is what she said to a Belarus sports news site. She said, quote, "I am afraid that I might be jailed in Belarus. I am not afraid of being fired or kicked out of the national team. I'm concerned about my safety, and I think that at the moment it is not safe for me in Belarus. I didn't do anything, but they deprived me of the right to participate in the 200-meter race and wanted to send me home." Now, Becky, Belarusian athletes who have criticized the government following the mass protests have faced reprisal. They've been detained. They've been excluded from national teams. President Alexander Lukashenko refused to step down last year and has initiated this violent, brutal crackdown on journalists, on dissidents, on protesters. Some athletes also participated in those protests, and several of them were jailed. Also important, Becky, to note that Alexander Lukashenko had been in charge of the National Olympic Committee in Belarus for decades before his son Viktor took over. Now, the IOC does not recognize his son Viktor, and both Lukashenko and his son are banned from attending the Tokyo Games. Becky.
Selina Wang is in Tokyo. Nick Paton-Walsh connecting you to the details from London. Let's start with Poland. What is Poland saying about what is going on?
Well, essentially, Poland, along with the other EU states on Belarus's border, is watching this slow-motion car crash of authoritarianism across the border over the past year or so now. Now, we've seen extraordinary brutality on the behalf of riot police, often against entirely peaceful, very young Belarusian citizens. I've reported on stories of alleged male rape by police officers using their batons. We've seen extraordinary videos of the violence the police are willing to do, and also rather eerie pictures too. The government themselves released of an activist in jail who simply keeled over multiple times before dying shortly in custody. These are very dark times inside of Belarus, and there are tens of thousands of people who've already left that country, many of them into Poland. Now, Poland's position on this, I think, is twofold. It sees, as a member of the European Union, an obligation to give asylum to those seeking political change inside of Belarus. No love lost between them and the Lukashenko regime or government, but also, too, frankly, many of those leaving are the better educated, internet savvy, hard-working Belarusians who seek a more Western-style society inside of Belarus, and so probably make quite a substantial contribution to Poland's economy. But we're seeing this in all of the EU neighbours of Belarus. Bright young Belarusians leaving, starting a life for themselves elsewhere, and trying to potentially keep what they can of the opposition protest movement inside. But it has been so heavily hit now. So much of the protest of what you see is essentially flash mobs that briefly appear, film themselves, and then put their protests online. Real concerns about what's happening off camera for people unlike Krystyna Tymonovskaya, whose plight is not minutely reported on by much of the world, and who simply have an exceptionally brutal time in custody, Becky.
Have we had a response from the Belarus government, and how will this affect relations, Nick, between Poland and, I guess, the sort of wider EU and the country?
Yeah, I mean, the statement so far, as I'm aware, is from the Belarusian Olympic Committee members who have been clear in saying that they believe Ms. Timanovskaya had emotional or psychological issues, and that's why they took her off the team. Now, that, for those who've grown up in the former Soviet Union, the use of sort of a psychological reason to potentially force someone back to their country is redolent of the repression of the Soviet Union. And this is a very dark time, I think. I mean, you'd normally associate somebody, it seems, according to Ms. Timanovskaya's version of events, being forcibly repatriated from the Olympics, something you might expect from North Korea or an exceptionally repressive regime. But these sort of tactics are being used by Belarus, as president called the last dictator in Europe. Their relationship with Poland next door obviously will deteriorate because of Poland's open embrace of the athlete Timanovskaya. They've said she'll get a humanitarian visa, then likely asylum, that she can continue her sports from that country too. But it continues to tighten the noose around Belarus's government there. They're under heavy sanctions after the forced downing of a Ryanair jet, it seemed, just to get an opposition blogger off that plane. They get a lot of backing from Moscow, and there are two minds as to how Moscow feels about this. Some analysts say Moscow are grateful of the distraction of ghastly repression next door in Belarus because it makes them look like the responsible adult in the authoritarian room, and others say, frankly, Russia could simply do without this sort of attention and this sort of chaos constantly being fomented by its unruly Western neighbour.
Thank you, Nick. Selina, briefly, Kristina Timanovskaya, as I understand it, does not have a reputation as an activist, nor does she have a reputation for being particularly critical of the government. This was a personal Instagram posting, clearly out of frustration and then fear.
Yes, Becky, according to what we know and what she has said, what she posted on Instagram, she was simply speaking out that this action was taken out of her consent. She said this decision to put her in this race was made behind her back. She was complaining about negligence of the coaches. She was not making some grand political statement. Becky, there are, of course, other scenarios where at Olympics, athletes in the past have tried to defect at these global sporting events. But as far as we know, she was speaking out about this particular negligence in regards to her being put in this relay race that she was not prepared for, that she did not give consent to. Becky.